श्रीमान वेंकटनाथार्य कवितार्किक केसरी वेदांताचार्यवर्यो मे सन्निधत्तां सदा हृदि कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविता साकां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलम्. We have been enjoying the Navarasams of Srimad Valmiki Ramayanam as beautifully portrayed by sage Valmiki, seeing the true life events right in front of his eye with the anugraham of Chaturmukha Brahma on him, also with the initiation of sage Narada on sage Valmiki. So we have covered so far 6 rasams. So now today let us enjoy Bibhathsa rasam. Bibhathsa rasam. Bibhathsa. Bibhathsa rasam is the rasam which has got a dominant state, dominant position of disgust, aruvaruppu. It is derived from something which is unpleasant or offensive or impure or harmful, seeing something which is unseeable, which is quite undesirable. It's got defects and it creates something in us. So something which we don't like, something which we cannot even hear, cannot even see, cannot listen. Immediately we get kind of disgust. In Sanskrit they say jugupsai. In Tamil it is aruvaruppu. Along with that we may get some bhayam, some anger. That is Bibhathsa rasam. Jugupsa sthayi bhavastu Bibhatsaha katyate rasaha. That is what Sahitya Darpanam mentions about the definition of Bibhatsa. The sthayi bhavam of Bibhatsa, the determinant of Bibhatsa is dominant state of disgust, jugupsa. And when we see such a Bibhatsa, when we see such a scene, we close our eyes, unbearable to see. And that is Bibhatsa. For example, in Mahabharatam, during that Shudatam, gambling, Yudhishthira lost everything, including his own spouse, Draupadi. And immediately something which is unheard of, something which is even unthinkable, unbearable happened. And one, as per Shastras, one should never ever harbor any kind of dishonor to womanhood, to ladies. And Duchadanan, even though she was in her period, she was pulled by Duchasana into the assembly in front of everyone. Bhishma, Drona, Dhritarashtra, everybody was there. They never even raised a finger. They didn't say anything. The Pancha Pandavas were holding their grudge inside their heart. They dared not raise their voice because they had already lost. They knew that they are not in a position to raise protest because they had already lost Draupadi in the gambling. And that is Bibhathsa rasam. Bibhathsa rasam is that which cannot be even seen. So horrible it was. Now coming to Ramayanam, in Krauncha Vanam, Rama and Lakshmana entered searching for Sita in Krauncha Vanam. It's a dense forest. It is completely dense, full of darkness, even though it was a daylight. and it was quite wild forest. And there he saw one Rakshasi, Araki, by name Ayomukhi. And when Ayomukhi is described, sage Valmiki describes those who are not strong-hearted, those who are not having a strong body, strong mind, should not see her. Sage Valmiki writes. So if you are weak-hearted, don't see her. The moment somebody who is weak, if they see her, they would fall unconscious, they would faint. Even to see, she is so unseeable, unbearable. She has got her hair well spread out. So what? Nowadays everybody does that. And she has got a pot-bellied huge paunch, huge, and it hangs outside her body. She has got long, sharp teeth, 4 teeth protruding from her mouth, about a couple of inches away from the mouth. She has got the skin which is as tough like a tree trunk. It is so rough. And she has got the mouth which is wide open, which completely can gulp the animals live. She looked in so much form which is unbearable to see. Bhayatam alpasattvanam Bibhatsam mukta murdajam lambodharim tikshnadamstram karalam parushatvacham Pakshayanti mrikan bhiman vikatam raudra darshanam. Rama Lakshmana looked at her with wonder. And when they were seeing her with wonder and with so much wide open eyes, how could somebody be like this? And immediately she caught hold of Lakshmanan's hand and she hugged him. My name is Ayomukhi. Now I got you today. Come, the most strongest one. Until we live, till our life end, let us enjoy in the waterfalls, in the nadi, in the mountain bottom underneath, in the caves. Let us enjoy. She told him. Lakshmana was so much disgusted by her appearance and the proximity. He immediately snatched her hand and she cut her ears and the nose and the breast with his sword, and she ran away bleeding, shouting, yelling and crying. Such a unforeseen thing which happened in the forest completely swept aside Lakshmana. Lakshmana was terribly depressed thinking about it. Lakshmana says, even after he tells Rama, Anna, my shoulders are still shivering. My mind is terribly shaken up. I think I've lost. I'm unable to think straight. You also be careful. Perhaps this is a bad omen. Lakshmana tells Rama. And then immediately, Spantate me dhritam bahuhu udvignamiva me manaha prayaschapya nishtani nimittan yupalakshaye tasmat sajjibavaryatvam kurushva vachanam hitam. Lakshmana, don't be scared. Vanchulaka Pakshi is shouting. That means it is a good omen and it is declaring our victory. Don't get scared. I am here to take care of you. He slightly hugged his shoulder and assured him of and comforted Lakshmana. That much Bibhathsa rasam affected Lakshmana. And while they were talking, there was a huge noise which came as if some big branch of a tree fell down. That was a sound. And there was a big turbulent wind that blowed like a storm. And suddenly they saw in front of them one terrific, huge body. Just a stomach and a chest they saw in front of them. Very big. Vivriddha mashiro grivam kabanda mudare mukham romabi nichitai tikshnaihi mahagirimivoshritam నీలమేఘ నిభం రౌద్రం మేకస్తనిత నిశ్వనం అగ్నిజ్వాలా నికాశేన లలాటస్థేన దీప్యత. So he looked just below the chest. The stomach was there and he was huge. He was like his two hands which hung out of the shoulders, out of the chest on both sides. Each hand was about 8 miles. 8 miles each hand. And the thickness of the hand itself is about a kilometer, half a kilometer. And with the two hands he was blocking the way. And his head and the mouth were all inside his stomach. And he had such roaring, thunderous voice which came from the stomach. His head, his neck were all inside the stomach. And he had a huge teeth which came out of the stomach. And his tongue was about 1 foot long, with which he was licking his stomach and his face which was inside the stomach. And he was very, very merrily, he was gulping the lions, the bear and the elephants were all just picked up by his hand and pushed into his stomach. Similarly, he caught hold of Rama Lakshmana. Rama Lakshmana were pulled with speed by his two hands. And immediately the most valorous and strongest Rama hit his hand. And because of which, with the other hand, Lakshmana was crushed by Kabandan. And immediately Lakshmana said, Anna, I'm suffocating, I'm being crushed, and he is going to put me inside his stomach now. And okay, you sacrifice me and you run away. You will definitely get Sita. There is no doubt about it. Go back and rule what our father, the grandfather, ruled Ayodhya. Go and rule successfully. Rama said, you are the warrior. You are from Ikshvaku Kulam. You are such a strong man. I am there. Do not worry. Immediately the Rakshasan, while he was telling that to Lakshmana, the Kabandan said, you both look very handsome and you both look like a Mahaveerar. You both look most valorous. In this forest which nobody can dare enter, why did you come here? And they did not respond. He said, Ahartam tu sandishtau daivena gata chedasau. You both by God's grace have become my food today. And he opened his big stomach, the mouth, and then he tried to put both of them inside. And Rama took his sword and cut the right hand. Lakshmana took his sword and cut the left hand. And Rakshasan immediately fell down bleeding terribly. It was a flood of blood pouring from the shoulders with the cut hands. And he asked Rama Lakshmana, who both of you are? They said, we are the sons of Dasharatha. We are from Ikshvaku Kulam. Our name is Rama Lakshmana. And because of the deceitful deceitful action of Kaikeyi. We have been sent to this forest, Lakshmana answered. My elder brother Rama's wife has been abducted by some Rakshasa. He had cheated us. He distracted us by getting a golden deer, and she was abducted. And hence we are going in search of Sita Pirati, Rama's spouse. And who are you with no head, no neck, which is inside the stomach? And why are you like this? You don't have even legs. The legs are broken, Lakshmana asked. And Kabandhan now politely and with respect, with preeti, he says, because of you both, I have gotten rid of my curse. May all auspiciousness befall on you. And then they burnt his body. And he got Deva Shariram, and while going, he told Rama Lakshmana to go and meet Shabari and Sugrivan. That would facilitate you in your search for Sita. Such a most wonderful Bibhathsa rasam is narrated by sage Valmiki. Adiyan Kavitarkika Simhaya Kalyana Gunashaline Srimate Venkateshaya Vedanta Gurave Namaha. Dhanyosmi Sri Sita Lakshmana Hanumat Sameta Sri Ramachandra Parabrahmane Namaha.